You kept the seat warm. Now it's his turn. I didn't flinch. He said it like he was doing me a favor, like betrayal counted as mentorship. My name is Marcus, 56, Director of Strategic Accounts. That's all he got. No handshake. No nod. No scene. Friday, 1:47 p.m., corner booth, 10th floor, downtown Chicago. He said it like he was giving me a compliment. The steak on my plate was cooling fast. I hadn't touched it. His was almost gone. Clean cut, no sauce. The way arrogant men eat when they think the room belongs to them. Clay Morrell, 41, new CEO, 3 months in. Still thought smiling after betrayal made it civilized. I didn't flinch. Folded my napkin once, set it next to the water glass, stood up. I walked out through the lobby. Security gave me a half smile. They didn't know. Passed 2 interns near the elevator, laughing, new blood, short ties, loud shoes. 4 blocks east. Industrial building, no name on the directory, 3rd floor. Private keycard. Only 1 tenant, me office was cold, silent. Exactly how I left it. Metal desk, old chair. 1 drawer with a sticky lock. Inside, prepaid phone, notebook. 1 envelope marked hold. Thumbprint seal, never opened. Sat down, took off my blazer, loosened the collar, dialed 4 numbers, 1 ring, hang up. Each of them knew what that meant. Didn't need explanations. Made coffee. Burnt. No cream. Just hot enough to sting. Watched the steam rise. Sat still. That office existed for one reason. To not exist. Cash lease. No company records. Not even in my wife's name when I had one. It had a single purpose. To be quiet when everything else got loud. The envelope hadn't moved in 3 years. The seal was dry. The tape yellowing. Still closed. I left it that way. At 3:12 p.m., first text came in. Got your call. Standing by. Didn't answer. At 3:44 p.m., second one. Should I reach out or wait? Still nothing. There's a kind of power in not answering, in letting other people feel the space you're not filling. Let them wonder. Let them shift in their chairs. Let them check their emails twice. Across the lake, clouds were building. Slow, dark, pressing in from the west. I finished the coffee, opened the safe behind the file cabinet, 2 flash drives, 1 burner laptop, 1 contract signed in 2019, notarized, quietly powerful. Checked the time, 4:20 p.m. Clay would be back at the office by now, probably in a glass meeting room, telling someone younger that leadership means making hard choices. He'd think the hard part was over. He hadn't even seen it start. People think being irreplaceable is about ego. It's not. It's about memory, the names, the habits, the hesitations clients make before asking what they really need. You don't train that. You earn it in silence, over time. 1 conversation, 1 solved fire, 1 lost weekend at a time. And Clay? He just gave it all away for a nephew with a marketing degree and a podcast. I didn't call anyone that night. Didn't open a bottle. Didn't type a single word. Just watched the lake until the lights came on across the shore. Then locked everything. Left the office. Walked to the truck. Same truck I've driven since 2011. Same keys, same weight. Turned the engine. Let it idle. Hands on the wheel. Nothing on the radio. No anger. No pacing. No list of what I'd lost. That's the part they never expect. Men like Clay think silence means defeat. It doesn't. It means the weather's changing. By Monday, the silence had started doing its work. Before Clay, there was Harold. Harold Dean. 69, founder, brick hands, no time for jargon. He built the company on follow-through, on showing up when others stalled. He hired me in 2002, didn't ask for a resume. Just handed me a folder and said, "These 3 are yours. Don't lose them." I didn't. 17 years, no headlines, no plaques, just trust. Every client I took stayed. Not because I chased them, because I remembered. Names. Kids. Moods. When to push. When to wait. I didn't do charm. I did clarity. Didn't sell products. Solved problems. I kept a photo on my desk. Me and Darren from Ballantyne. His daughter had just finished chemo. I flew out that week. Took their renewal in person. No pitch. Just presence. He teared up when I handed him the pen. Didn't say anything. Didn't need to. His daughter was holding a marker, drawing stars on a paper cup. She looked at me. I nodded. She offered the cup. I kept it for years. My office wasn't big. No art. Just a leather chair, 2 clocks, and a drawer that locked right. Everyone knew not to knock unless it mattered. I didn't speak in meetings unless I had to, but when I did, people wrote it down. Then Harold stepped down. He didn't tell me first. I found out in a meeting. Press release already queued. Photos already staged. That night he came into my office. No folder, no coffee, just silence. He looked around the room like it no longer belonged to him, held the back of the chair. Didn't sit. You'll keep things. Steady, he said. I nodded once. He turned to go, then paused. You still drink that burnt coffee? Every day. He almost smiled, but didn't. Then he left. I didn't see him again. His name came off the boardroom glass within 48 hours. 2 Mondays later, Clay arrived. He walked like a man who already knew who was obsolete. He wore effort like a cologne, too strong, trying to prove something. And he brought Lucas. Lucas spoke in hashtags, said alignment more than he said thank you. He interrupted before questions were finished. Smiled through silence like it was noise. I was asked to mentor him. I didn't argue. Took him to a renewal meeting with Mercer and Klein. During the intro, Lucas cut me off. Told them we'd revolutionize onboarding touchpoints. I watched Julian. Mercer blink. He adjusted his glasses. Said, we didn't ask for change. We asked for continuity. Lucas didn't hear it, but I did. Afterward, in the elevator, Lucas clapped me on the back. We crushed that. Mercer loved the pitch. I didn't respond. He looked at me like I was slow. You gonna update Salesforce or should I? Go ahead. That's why we make a great team, he said. I didn't correct him, just logged the silence, Mercer. Left on the call. The numbers didn't dip. Not yet, but I saw it. Old clients started confirming meetings twice. Their emails got shorter. They called me Marcus instead of Mark. Some copied Lucas on emails they used to send just to me. No one said it out loud, but I was no longer point of contact. I was just copied. People knocked on my door less. The kitchen smelled different. Harold's nameplate had vanished from the wall, and the sound of the office changed. More pitch, less pause. Meetings that used to start with stories now began with slides. Someone unplugged my second monitor. Never plugged it back. It didn't happen all at once. At first, it was just little things. Emails where I wasn't included on the first thread, just copied later. Meetings moved without notice. Clients unavailable when I offered to join. Slack channels I used. To moderate suddenly locked. Folders I created renamed. My initials removed from shared drive tags. One afternoon I passed by the break room. Heard Lucas say, Marcus? Yeah, he's sort of legacy infrastructure. Reliable, but analog. Someone laughed. Not loudly. Just enough. I walked in. He went quiet. Pretended to be talking about software. I didn't respond. Just poured burnt coffee. Let the silence sit with him. Another time, a client flagged a payment issue. I forwarded the thread to Clay and offered a fix. No reply. Next morning, Lucas rolled in late, holding cold brew and said, handled it. Told them we were restructuring invoicing systems. He looked proud, like he'd invented forgiveness. I checked the client's reply. They sounded confused, grateful, but unsure. They called him Mark in the email. Nobody corrected it. At the weekly status call, I offered a suggestion. No one replied, not even a nod. 5 minutes later, Lucas repeated it, with 2 buzzwords and a slide. Everyone agreed. Clay smiled. I said nothing. That afternoon, I found Thomas in the elevator. "You good?" he asked. "Why wouldn't I be?" He shrugged. "People notice when the lights dim." I looked at him. "And?" He pressed his lips together. "Just keep showing up." I did, but it didn't matter. Even Lorna, who used to knock twice before entering my office, now sent short emails. "Not sure if this is still your lane." "It's probably with Lucas." She meant well. That's the worst part. Then came the dinner with Ballantyne. Used to be a handshake at the door. Darren meeting me at the curb. Daughter running up with a drawing or a story. This time, we walked in. Lucas led. Darren stood. Didn't reach out. "Clay said you'd both be coming." "I'm here to observe," I said. Lucas jumped into metrics before the bread hit the table. Talked conversion rates and engagement funnels like they were gospel. Darren nodded, but his eyes kept drifting toward his daughter, now a college freshman, still quiet. Still perceptive. She looked at me once. "You're the guy who used to bring pens and never spoke much, right?" Lucas laughed. "Yeah, he's old school. Now we come with dashboards." I didn't flinch. Darren cleared his throat. "We appreciate the effort. But you know, Marcus, when my team gets a message from your office now, it feels like the sender doesn't know us." I nodded once. No defense. "That's on us," Lucas cut in. Darren looked at him flatly, then back at me. "It's not blame, just change." That word. After dessert, while they ordered drinks, Darren leaned over to me. "You were the reason I signed every year. Not because of what you said, because of what you didn't." I waited. He lowered his voice. "Now it's all noise." I stood up before the check came, took the back exit. Lucas stayed behind for drinks. The next day, Darren's assistant emailed Clay, said they'd be reviewing the relationship at the next renewal. Clay forwarded it to me with a question mark. I didn't reply. I kept showing up, kept drinking the same coffee, opening the same drawer, didn't open the envelope, didn't reach out, but the walls were thinner, the clocks louder, the hallway quieter. People talked softer around me, or not at all. Even the janitor started saying good evening instead of see you tomorrow. They were preparing for my absence before I announced it. The company all hands came. I sat in the back. Clay called Lucas a rising force, said the future was fast, fluid, and fearless. Nobody mentioned my name. Lucas closed with a joke. "Legacy means we appreciate what got us here, but it's not where we're going." Polite applause. A few eyes drifted toward me, then away, just as quickly. And I realized, it's not betrayal that breaks you. It's watching a place that needed, you forget how to look at you. Monday came quiet. No announcement. No confrontation. Just space being cleared. My keycard still worked. My name was still on the glass, but the air was thinner. People's eyes moved faster. At 10:17 a.m., Lorna walked past, then came back, paused. She stood in the doorway, holding a file she didn't need. She didn't sit. "They asked for your email drafts," she said. I looked at her. Said nothing. "They're rewriting the Mercer timeline. Clay wants it to look like Lucas had pre-approval, that you were looped in." I raised an eyebrow. "You weren't," she added, almost whispering. I still said nothing. She hesitated. "Do you want me to push back?" "No," she lowered her voice. "They think you'll walk, that you won't make noise." I turned back to my screen. "You should talk to Thomas," she added. "He's unsure." "Everyone is." She swallowed, hard, shifted her weight. I saved some of the original threads, just in case. I looked at her. That was new. She met my eyes for a second. "I don't owe them clarity." Then she stepped back. You didn't deserve this. She left without closing the door. By noon, I'd locked my office. Not out of fear. Out of habit, I opened the drawer, removed the envelope, still sealed, thumbprint dry. 3 years untouched. I placed it beside the laptop, then opened the safe. The contract was there, crisp, flattened under glassine. Clause 17. Retention of advisory authority in the event of executive restructuring hostile to founding intent. Harold had called it a formality. But his eyes had said otherwise. I remembered the room. Summer 2019. The fan in the corner was broken, air conditioner coughing. The pen, cheap blue ink, clicked twice. He leaned back, sipped burnt coffee, and said, "Leverage isn't about shouting. It's about remembering before others forget." Then he signed. Quick, clean, quiet. I watched the ink bleed slightly into the paper grain. Ran my thumb over it now. His name still there. Still sharp, still legal. I booted the burner laptop, typed. 3 lines, client name, clause number. Date of breach. No subject. No file name. No folder. Just signal. I copied it to the first flash drive. Slid it into a second envelope. Unsealed. Didn't press send. Didn't even open an email window. I opened a second tab. Typed one. More word. Ready. Didn't hit enter, just closed the screen. The message was never meant to be loud. At 4:40 p.m., the hallway lights dimmed. I stayed in the dark. There was nothing more to do today, but everything had already shifted. On the, way out, I passed Lorna again near the elevator. She looked up. Held my gaze a moment too long. Anything I should know? I shook my head. Then, after a beat, not yet. That was enough. I drove past the old building, Harold's building. The lights were off, except one. Top corner, his old office. Third, window from the right. His chair used to face the lake. He said it helped him listen through the glass. Maybe it was a janitor. Maybe it was a dead bulb. Or maybe buildings remember better than people. Justice doesn't always knock. Sometimes it lives in paper. Sometimes in silence. And sometimes in a name they tried to erase, but couldn't. Clay called for a closed-door meeting on Thursday. 4 board members. Clay, Lucas, and me. No refreshments, no introductions, just the faint hum of central air and a tension you could measure. "I'll make this quick," Clay said. "There's been confusion around who approved the Mercer renewal plan. Internal alignment is key." He looked at me, then at the board. "I've been advised Marcus misrepresented internal consensus." I didn't respond. He tapped a folder with rehearsed, "Com, we're initiating a transition of authority. Lucas will assume oversight of strategic accounts until this is resolved." Carolyn, oldest on the board, adjusted her glasses. "And what, exactly, is being resolved?" "Trust," Clay said. Flat. Final. That's when I slid the envelope. Across the table. No flourish, just motion. Clay stopped. Looked at it. "What's this?" "Clause 17, I said. Lucas blinked. "I don't know what that means." He reached for the envelope. I opened it before he could. Signed by Harold. Ratified during reorganization. I hold advisory retention authority in any restructuring hostile to founding intent. The room stilled. Carolyn read it. Slowly. Her eyes didn't leave the page. Clay leaned forward. "This wasn't meant to be active. It is now." He looked around. "It's not enforceable." Carolyn didn't flinch. "That's not the question. The question is, how does this look to clients?" Another board member murmured, and to investors. Lucas stood up. "The first real movement in 10 minutes. You waited for this. You planned it." "No," I said. "You did," his voice cracked. "This is a coup." "No," I repeated. "It's correction." He looked to Clay for backup, But Clay was already sinking into silence. Lucas pressed on. You're not even offering an alternative. Just control. I nodded. Exactly. And I'm choosing how. He scoffed. So you're just going to what? Burn us out? I looked at him for a long moment, then said, I could bury you. But I choose precision over punishment. Clay tried to regain footing. The board can vote. They already have, Carolyn interrupted. Silently, the youngest board member leaned forward. What happens next? That's up to you, I said. But the clients already know something's wrong. I made sure they'd feel it, not hear it. Later that day, I met with Thomas and Lorna. In private, I handed Thomas a black folder. Inside, 3 client memos, 1 exit forecast, 1 retention matrix, no titles, just initials, dates, projections. You built this? He asked. I nodded. It's not the future. It's the floor. You build from here. Lorna looked uneasy. They're going to come after you. I know. And us? You'll be tested. That's the point. Thomas flipped through a page. This is brutal. It's honest. She held the folder tighter. What do you want from us? Silence. Accuracy. And when they ask who trained you? I waited. Thomas said it first. Say nothing. Let them figure it out. I returned to my office that night and removed every trace of myself. Photos. Valentine's daughter's cup. The old paperweight Harold once gave me. Even the files under the desk drawer. All gone. Except one thing. The original contract. Left open. Harold's name exposed. Let them see it. Let them try to rewrite it again. By morning, Clay had resigned citing personal reasons. Lucas was reassigned pending performance review. The board released a 1-line internal notice. Advisory. Authority has been exercised in line with founding protections. No PR spin. No noise. By week's end, 4 clients had already called my private line. They didn't ask what happened. They just asked where to send the next contract. The new office didn't have a view. No skyline. No river. Just quiet. That was the point. Second, floor of an old building near the freight line. 3 rooms. White walls. Floor still smelled of primer. I signed the lease before they finished wiring the lights. Didn't ask about parking. Didn't care. There's a kind of peace in not needing to impress anyone. I moved in with 3 boxes, 1 laptop, 1 notebook, 1 framed contract with Harold's signature. No logo on the door, no plaque, just a brass number and a lock I changed. Myself. The desk was the same one I used in my first job. Oak. Too heavy to lift alone. I had it carried up the stairs by a man who didn't ask questions. That was the first good sign. Thomas showed up unannounced. He paused in the doorway, then smiled at the lack of furniture. Looks like a man preparing for clarity, he said. I didn't respond, just nodded toward the chair across from me. One of 2. He sat down, opened a small envelope. Inside were 3 client confirmations, all signed, all clean. They followed, he said. Didn't even ask who was in charge. Just wanted to. No, you weren't gone. I raised an eyebrow. And you? He exhaled, still figuring that part out. Then he stood and added, You didn't teach me sales. You taught me silence. I looked up. He said it like a thank you, the kind that doesn't need acknowledgement. Then he left. Later that week, Lorna sent a single-line message. They've already started rewriting the origin story. I replied with 2 words. Let them. On Friday, I drove to the lake. Same truck, same route. Same road with 1 broken reflector halfway through. The lights across the water hadn't changed. I parked in the usual spot, edge of the lot facing east. It used to be where Harold and I would talk after meetings. No strategy, just silence and the hum of the engine. One night, he told me, the men who talk least in the room aren't always quiet. They're just still choosing the moment. That moment came and went. I didn't get out of the truck, didn't need to. There was nothing I needed to see that I didn't already carry. The phone buzzed once. I let it sit. Across the lake, one building still had a light on. Corner window, Harold's. Old office. Maybe it was empty. Maybe someone else had the keys now. Didn't matter. Some legacies are louder in absence than in presence. Some people chase legacy in ink and headlines. Others build it in silence. I started the engine, let it idle. Didn't. Turn on the radio. Didn't check my phone. Hands on the wheel. The rest would come. But for now, this was enough.
The gentleman's revenge isn't loud, but it's always personal. If this felt personal, make it personal. Subscribe now, and don't miss tomorrow's story.